Hello and welcome. I'm Geeta Mohan and you're watching India Today Global. Now, President Trump's meeting with farmers has triggered fresh tensions in the United States of America with India after the suggested possible new tariffs on Indian agricultural imports. US farmers accuse countries, including India, of dumping rice and hurting domestic prices. India's rice exporters reject the claims, saying shipments are demand-driven. Mahashweta Lala with this report.
When it seemed that tensions between India and the US was waning, and after the very recent revamp of the US national security strategy that emphasized on strengthening economic, security and geopolitical ties with India, President Trump dropped off a possible tariff bombshell. This time it's India's agriculture sector. This comes after Trump held a meeting with Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins, lawmakers from farm states and farmers, where he announced a $12 billion aid package for American farmers. The farmers said that US President should take a harder stand against agricultural imports which were pushing the domestic prices down. CEO of Louisiana-based Kennedy Rice Mill, Merrill Kennedy told Trump that she believed other countries were dumping rice into the United States.
But us in the South are really struggling. I mean, this is not just a crisis. I would say it's almost a market dynamics that really are true anti-competitive nature, right? So it follows what you sent out this weekend. And we do believe that countries are dumping rice into this country today. We've never seen imports this great.
Which countries?
India, Thailand, even China into Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico used to be one of the largest markets for U.S. rice. We haven't shipped rice into Puerto Rico in years.
India, tell me about India. Why is India allowed to do that? They have to pay tariffs. Do they have an exemption on rice?
No, sir. We're still working on their trade deal. So
yeah, but they shouldn't be dumping. I mean, I heard that from others. So you can't do that.
There's a WTO case against India
now.
Give
me the countries, if you could. Go ahead. India. Who else?
So India.
Mark it down. What'd you say?
Yes, sir.
India, Thailand, China into Puerto Rico, not into continental U.S., but into Puerto Rico.
All right.
And
so easy to settle.
Rice dumping refers to a practice to sell rice at a very low price to another country, thereby harming the import's country's domestic production. She also mentioned the WTO case against India. As per the case, US and other countries have accused India of selling rice at a higher level than is permissible under the WTO rules. The Indian Rice Exports Federation on the issue of rice dumping noted that exports to the US are strictly demand-driven and shipments are only made against advance purchase orders. According to IREF, India exported 274,213 million tons of Basmati rice worth $337.1 million to the US in financial year 2025. Making America the fourth largest market for Indian Basmati. Non-Basmati shipments stood at 61,341 MT worth $54.6 million, placing the US as the 24th largest market for that category. The tariff war has strained India-US relations. India is already reeling under 50% tariff charge from the US for purchasing Russian oil. Though President Trump has called Prime Minister Modi a good friend and said talks were on regarding trade and tariffs, the new possible tariff could make business with the US tougher. With Mahashweta Lala, Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, it does seem like rice has become the latest point of contention between the two countries. This even as a delegation of US trade representatives have landed in New Delhi. To discuss this and more, I'm being joined by my colleagues Karishma Asdani and Rohit Sharma from Washington, D.C. Karishma, you'll be tracking the developments here in New Delhi. What can be expected? Is there forward movement or more tariffs?
Well, Geeta, while the development definitely comes as a hope of, as optimism and a ray of hope for the first tranche of the deal to be concluded, that's what, in fact, India's trade ministry, the trade secretary, Mr. Rajesh Agarwal, had said. The meeting between both the trade negotiators, that is Brendan Lynch and Darpan Jain, stands extremely important. But a point to be noted here is that this is not another round of negotiation and more of a familiarization visit to understand the nits and gritties of the deal. Now, if this is not an official negotiation, where is this going to lead to? Because the official negotiation was just of 5 rounds. In October, Indian team had visited Washington just before Diwali, and now the officials are coming back after, of course, the team was also here sometime in the month of November. Where is this going to lead to is the big question that everybody is asking, and if the first tranche could be concluded in the next, say, 20 days.
Okay, that's again being a little optimistic, because let's see whether that's going to really be concluded or not. Commerce Ministry quite hopeful. Rohit, a very important development over here, even as we're looking at a familiarization team in New Delhi. It seems like Trump is hell-bent on yet another imposition of tariffs against India because of rice this time around.
Well, I think President Trump was appealing to the farmers who have faced the brunt of these tariffs. And that's the reason why he's giving out $12 billion to the farmers who've suffered this year. So I think, all in all, I think it was a very interesting comment by President Trump. He wanted to check on, what's the status on India. And then we heard Treasury Secretary saying that we are still negotiating a deal with them. Before the 50% tariffs, India was only paying 10% tariffs on the rice. So I think President Trump was, kind of, he just, I don't want to use the word woke up, but I think he was like, why is India dumping all this rice on us? And I think that was the comment he made. We'll have to wait and watch if that means if they will be putting additional tariffs on, especially the exports of rice. But looks like, I think he was kind of assured with the answer with what Secretary Besant told him, that they will be negotiating a deal and they'll probably hear something on that.
Well, agriculture was a sore point from the very beginning, and it seems like it is going to become a little more serious when it comes to the agriculture question. Karishma, Rohit, thank you so much for joining us. President Donald Trump's vicious insinuations towards female journalists seems to have no end. This time, he hit out at a female journalist for questioning him about the release of military's September 2nd strike on a boat in the Caribbean. When asked about Trump's earlier statement that he had no problem in releasing the September 2nd footage of military attack on a boat in the Caribbean, Trump replied that he never said so. He went further to say that he was okay with whatever Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth did. The president last week also seemed to acknowledge that the boat capsized when the survivors were hit. U.S. lawmakers are pressuring Trump administration to release the unedited video of the attack on the boat on September 2nd. Hegseth said he didn't see the order. He did not see the order through that happened on that day.
Mr. President, you said you would have no problem with releasing the full video of that strike on September 2nd off the coast of Venezuela. Secretary Hegseth now says...
You said that. I didn't say that. This is ABC fake news.
You said that you would have no problem releasing the full bit. Okay, well, Secretary Hegseth...
No, whatever Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
He now says it's under review. Are you ordering the Secretary to release that full video?
Whatever he decides is okay with me.
Are you committing to releasing the full video?
Didn't I just tell you that?
You said that it was up to Secretary Hegseth.
You're the most obnoxious reporter in the whole place. Let me just tell you, you are an obnoxious, actually a terrible reporter. And it's always the same thing with you. I told you, whatever Pete Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
Well, ahead of holiday season, U.S. First Lady Melania Trump attended a Virginia Toys for Tots event at Marine Corps Base Quantico near Washington, D.C. The First Lady met children and handed over toys to them. She also thanked the children and their parents who are stationed outside serving the country. Melania also said she personally flew to the event with Santa for the day's visit, although his reindeer couldn't attend. Last year, the non-profit Toys for Tots distributed over 30 million toys to nearly 13 million impoverished children. Nearly 15 million children nationwide live in poverty. Last week, Melania had visited Children's National Hospital in Washington to spread Christmas cheer to children and their families there.
Some of the children here today have a parent stationed away from home right now. I know this can be difficult. On behalf of our nation, thank you. And thank you to the parents and guardians who are here today. Your support and resilience empower our Marines to serve with honor and distinction. Whether near or far, you illuminate every occasion, enriching everyone's life. This Christmas season, you, your friends, and your families should wish for the ultimate gift, love. After all, love travels further than Santa's sleigh and American ospreys. Thank you and Merry Christmas and Happy and Healthy New Year.
A Chinese carrier strike group launched intense air operations near Japan over the weekend as both countries traded diplomatic barbs. The encounters in waters close to Japan's southwest island chain come after Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi warned last month that Tokyo could respond to any Chinese military action against Taiwan that also threatened Japan's security. Over the weekend, China's Liaoning aircraft carrier conducted about 100 takeoffs and landings as it sailed east into the Pacific Ocean past the Okinawa Islands, which is a group of islands in Okinawa Prefecture in Japan. Tokyo summoned China's ambassador Wu Jianghao to protest behavior it called dangerous and regrettable after saying the carrier's fighter jets aimed radar beams at its aircraft scrambled to shadow the vessel. But the Chinese embassy denied Tokyo's claims.
舰载机在飞行训练时开启搜索雷达，是各国通常。
It's fairly apparent what the Japanese side is up to by spreading misinformation in military and security areas and creating tension at this particular time. We strongly urge the Japanese side to immediately stop this dangerous harassment of China's military exercise and training and stop all irresponsible allegations and political manipulation.
颠倒黑白，嫁祸于人，误导国际社会。
From secret calls offering Maduro safe passage to record-breaking bounties and relentless strikes, Trump's Venezuela strategy is unfolding. But who's really in the crosshairs? The drug cartels or the Venezuelan state itself? Here is Statecraft for you. For months, the Caribbean Sea has been rumbling with American fighter jets, destroyers slicing through the waters, and the largest U.S. aircraft carrier looming like a floating threat just miles from Venezuela. Washington isn't even pretending anymore. Trump openly says land strikes are much easier. The U.S. knows where the bad ones live, and that those attacks may begin very soon. Add to that an eye-watering $50 million bounty on Nicolas Maduro's head, matching America's reward for Osama bin Laden. And you have a spectacle that feels less like counter-narcotics and more like regime hunt theater. Why is Donald Trump targeting Venezuela with such ferocity, and why now? Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan. Venezuela says the answer is obvious: oil, power, and an old obsession with forcing Maduro out. The US claims it's narco-terrorism, that Maduro runs the cartel of the Suns, and that drug boats linked to Tren de Aragua and Sinaloa are flooding America with fentanyl-laced cocaine. Trump insists the strikes, more than 87 dead in 22 attacks so far, are part of an armed conflict with drug cartels. The truth is, Trump's Venezuela fixation isn't born from a sudden crusade against narcotics. It isn't sparked by the death count from the boat strikes, nor by some newfound concern for the Caribbean drug corridor. This is a long brewing storm, one mixing politics, oil, personal pride, geopolitical signaling, and the intoxicating spectacle of American military power. Washington's closest intelligence experts say the administration is exaggerating, overreaching, and at times inventing the threat. And yet, the Trump team doubles down, designating 8 Latin American criminal groups as foreign terrorist organizations, elevating street gangs to the same category as ISIS or Al-Qaeda, and declaring cartels unlawful combatants so that military force can be used almost without limit. Why? Because narco-terrorism is the perfect legal and political cover for something far bigger. A presidentially driven campaign to collapse the Maduro government without calling it regime change. The bounty makes that clear. $50 million, up from $15 million in 2020, then $25 million during Biden's term, now doubled again by Trump. That sets Maduro on par with the world's most hunted terrorists. Venezuela's reserves dwarf those of Saudi Arabia. Even after years of mismanagement, those reserves represent unparalleled geopolitical leverage. If Washington can shape a friendly transition or at least destabilize a regime aligned with Russia and China, it dramatically alters the energy calculus of the hemisphere. Because this isn't just about Maduro, it's about Moscow, it's about Beijing, it's about signaling strength across the entire hemisphere. When the US sends its most advanced carrier to sit within operational reach of a Russian-backed regime, the message isn't subtle. Trump is signaling that he will not tolerate a hostile, defiant, Russian-linked, cartel-accused government to freely operate in America's backyard. The military timeline reinforces this. It's not random. It's escalating pressure step by step. Trump confirms he has given the agency authority for covert operations inside of Venezuela. He refuses to say whether the CIA is permitted to act directly against Maduro. The ambiguity is the point. The threat hangs in the air. The UN finally speaks, calling for a halt, warning of extrajudicial killings, demanding an investigation. But Washington marches ahead. Trump sees the human rights criticisms not as breaks, but as political noise. In his framing, this is war. The memo declaring cartels unlawful combatants formalizes it. Maduro understands this better than anyone. That's why he appeals to OPEC. That's why he calls Washington's actions murder and extrajudicial executions. That's why the Venezuelan legislature meets families of those killed. That's why Defense Minister Padrino Lopez declares the military stronger than ever. That's all on this edition of India Today Global. But before I go, Paramount Global has launched a $108 billion hostile bid for Warner Brothers. Discovery challenging Netflix's board-approved deal and igniting a high-stakes Hollywood showdown. Watch the report. That, goodbye and take care.
Paramount Global has launched a dramatic $108.4 billion hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers Discovery, offering $30 per share in cash directly to shareholders, bypassing the board that favored Netflix. Backed by Jared Kushner's affinity partners and Middle Eastern sovereign funds, the bid accuses Warner Brothers of rigging the process for Netflix's $72 to $83 billion deal, targeting only studios and streaming. This all-cash play for Warner's full assets, including cable networks, has ignited a fierce Hollywood power struggle. Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of US President Donald Trump, has fueled Paramount's bid through his firm, sparking ethics alarms over potential White House influence. Trump reacted cautiously on camera.
Paramount deal is supported by Jared Kushner, Mr. President. Would that impact your decision?
If Paramount is, I don't know. I've never spoken to him. He's really trying to work on Gaza. I think his primary thing is Gaza.
The US president has already slammed Netflix deal as potentially a problem due to market dominance, vowing personal involvement in approvals.
You support the Paramount bid for Warner Brothers?
I don't know enough about it.
You spoke about Netflix last night, saying you have concerns about them.
I know the companies very well. I know what they're doing, but I have to see what percentage of market they have. We have to see the Netflix percentage of market, Paramount, the percentage of market. I mean, none of them are particularly great friends of mine. You know, I want to do what's right.
Oracle founder Larry Ellison, who is incidentally the father of Paramount CEO David Ellison, anchors the bid with deep Trump ties, including past merger talks and White House favoritism whispers. Sources call it Paramount's Trump card, positioning them as the regulator-friendly buyer amid Netflix scrutiny. For both Netflix and Paramount, Warner is a treasure trove of intellectual property. It includes the Harry Potter franchise, DC Comics universe, the HBO's blockbuster series like Game of Thrones and Succession. This vast library, spanning over 100,000 hours of premium content, fuels streaming dominance, merchandise empires, and global licensing deals worth billions annually. Paramount craves Warner's full arsenal. Cable giants like CNN and TNT alongside streaming to forge a content colossus rivaling Disney, merging CBS libraries with Warner's for unmatched scale. It rescues Paramount from debt woes while grabbing Warner's undervalued assets at a premium, ensuring survival in the streaming bloodbath. For Netflix, Warner represents a kill three birds with one stone masterstroke. Instant access to HBO Max's 100 million subscribers, elite studios for original franchises, and gaming IPs like Mortal Kombat to rival Sony and Microsoft. Netflix board-approved pact now hangs by a thread, with Paramount urging shareholders to ditch it for a superior full company cash-out. Regulators eye monopoly risk. Amplified by Trump's skepticism and Paramount's political edge, Netflix could pay $5.8 billion breakup fee if blocked. Warner Brothers shareholders hold the drama's next act. Bureau Report, Business Today TV.